Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside an Attrition of Souls World War I strategic scale. This is a game designed by Scott Librent and published by Compass Games. I just got this in the mail from Compass Games and wanted to do a quick preview for you so you can see what this game is all about. It is available now from the Compass website. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game is all about. Armies are marching and the lamps are going out all over Europe. From the trenches of Flanders to the steppes of Russia, two colossal military blocs are about to engage in brutal conflict from which only one can emerge victorious. It is up to you to take control of one of these great alliances. Plot your moves carefully, for within an hour, Europe's fate will be decided. An Attrition of Souls is a light, fast-paced wargame. It uses a unique tile placement system to simulate the First World War. Each turn, you will randomly draw tiles from a pouch based on your industrial points and use them to the best of your ability. The game features a combat system meant to simulate the horrific attrition of this conflict. Strategy is key, as the dice will offer no bloodless victories in this game. And it listed as complexity as being low. It is for 2 players. It does have a medium solitaire suitability, and it takes about 90 minutes to play. It's recommended for ages 14 and up. Inside you get a game board, a rulebook, 2 player aids, 2 counter sheets, 2 tile pouches, 2 player mats, 20 event cards, and 10 6-sided dice. And here's an example of the cards, the counters, and the map that we'll get inside. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. And we get a bag of dice, our cards, 2 pouches, rulebook, player aids, 2 counter sheets, and our mounted map. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the mounted map that comes with the game. And once again, Compass does a great job with getting their maps to lay flat out of the box. I think that's what they should call them, lay flat maps, because no backbending, no warping, no nothing. I just took it out of the box, threw it down on the table, and it lays perfectly flat. Kudos to Compass for once again continuing to do that with their mounted map boards. The map may look a little busy, but it makes total sense when you understand how everything is here. These square locations are capitals. These circle ones are regions, and they are connected by these black lines. And this is how you're going to be moving these tiles, your units, from location to location. The blue is for the Anton Powers only. That is naval travel, so that way they can move from location to location, but they can only move to one location, whereas when you're going land movement, you can move as many locations as you can, as long as it's within your region or an allied region. We also have a breakdown of the turns on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, we have the aerodrome optional and for Entente, as well as for the Central Powers. And then you have your production points, so you can keep track of them down the side. Now we'll take a look at the player aids that come with the game. First, we'll take a look at the player mats. This is for the Central Powers. It'll tell you all of the different units that you'll be placing in your pouch, and anything that will be starting on the turn track, your reserves and your destroyed, will be controlled down here. Then on the back, we have the optional rules added in. Same thing as on the front, except now you have additional units that are introduced with the optional rules. Same thing for the Entente Powers, and then with the optional rules for the Entente Powers. Then we have the sequence of play, which lists out all the steps for each turn. Then on the back, we have the Russian surrender rule from the basic game, as well as optional rules you can add in at any amount that you want. You can have 1 or 2 or all of them. It's up to you how you want to play the game. Then we'll take a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. These are nice, big, thick counters that Compass has been using in their games recently. Really enjoy them. They are pre-rounded, so you don't have to worry about clipping. These are for the Central Powers. And on the next sheet, we have the Entente Powers. Then we have some cards that can be used in the game for both Central and the Entente Powers. We'll take a look at a couple of them. Here we have Lion of Africa. The Entente Powers, player must remove 1 British tile of his or her choice from the board, returning it to the Entente Powers reserves. And then the Flying Circus. Destroy 1 enemy airplane tile of your choice. The target tile must be in the same region as a German airplane tile. Then we have the Creeping Barrage. During this turn, the British artillery tile may be used to score any number of hits. Then for German Revolution, during the update region status phase, remove the current control marker from Berlin, replacing it with a contested marker. Now we'll take a look at the rulebook. It is a 40-page full-color rulebook, and before you say, hey, wait a minute, Mo, you said this was a low complexity game. Don't worry about it being 40 pages. There are a lot of images in here, and the basic rules themselves only go to page 15. After that, you have the optional rules, which can add different complexity to the game, and you can, pick and choose whatever it is you want out of there. You don't have to use all of them. You can use one or two or all of them. It's up to you. So we start out here with the explanation of the board, the allegiance and nationality for the Central Powers and the Anton Powers. And as we looked at before with the map board, we had the capital region and the territory region explained to you, the square and the circle. And then they go into the industrial points, the turn track, industrial points track, player aids, all of the components of the game explained to you. And then how you put your tiles in a pouch. You're going to be drawing them each turn, and then you're going to be placing them and then moving them from there. The sequence of play summary, which we already saw on the player aid card, and then it's all explained to you, drawing the tiles, and then the Russian surrender for the Anton player only, how that works. Then you mobilize your movement eligibility and how movement's handled. Remember we said before how movement is when you're doing it through land. It's those black connected lines, and you can move through any number of territories that are yours. You have to stop once you get into an enemy territory, and that's where you'll have your battles. And then for naval movement, again, it's only one region that you'll move to. Then you have contested capital restrictions, planned mandatory battles, battle resolution. The battle resolution here is pretty cool. With the intent of showing the high attrition rate in war, especially World War I here, what you're going to do is, if you're the attacker, only you will roll dice, but your dice will score for you and against you. As you roll your dice, each unit hits on different things. Like for infantry, for example, hits on 1, and artillery hits on 2. When you roll your dice, you'll roll the dice based on whatever country has the most amount of tiles in it. In this instance here, we've got the German player has 4 tiles in there, and he will roll 4 dice. The Austro-Hungarian tiles there's only 2 of them, so they don't count. So you roll your 4 dice, and you have infantry, and you have artillery. So you will score 1 and 2s. You get 1 hit, and then 2 hits for the artillery. By the same token, the French here have only infantry, but they hit on a 1 because infantry hits on 1s. So you lose 1 and they lose 2. That's how the infantry or the combat works, and it's pretty effective and pretty brutal. I like the whole idea of that. Then you have the advance, the update region status, and then we get into the managing reserves, and then the end game on page 15, special rules for 1914. And then we get into the optional rules here on page 16, optional components. You can use your tanks. Tanks can be brought into it at this point. Elite infantry, Yag commandos, where they can just shrug off a hit if they get hit, stormtroopers, French Senegalese that were French colonial infantry recruiting from West Africa. And then you have the U.S. Marines, air reserves, moving tiles to your aerodrome, air reinforcements, fog of war mobilization, battle resolution. As you can see, it starts to get a little bit more complex when you add in these other rules. Not high complexity, just makes it a little more complex compared to the base game, which is very, very simple and very easy to play. Then you have the variable neutral entry, event card rules, and then all of the event cards are broken down. As you see here, this goes to page 20, and then we get into the event cards on 21, 22, 23. All these cards are explained to you in good detail. Then you have the mulligan tile draw system, trenches, generals, Ruhr industry, the 6 general markers, and then we have the historical 1914 setup on page 27. And then we have an example of play on page 29, which explains to you the whole setup, and then gives you an illustrated example of the map, how it's going to be set up at that point. And then you have a text of the turn itself, and then you will see how that ends up at the end of turn 2, based on the text. Then there is a commentary on the example of play, and the designer's notes on page 37. Then we have the turn sequence on 38 and 39, and page 40, we're at the back of the rulebook. And that is a look at everything you get inside of an Attrition of Souls, World War I strategic scale. This is a game designed by Scott Librant and published by Compass Games. Once again, we get a beautiful lay flat map from Compass. I know I kind of make a little bit of a big deal out of it, but there's been so many games in the past that we've all gotten where we've had to put weighted objects on a map to get it to lay flat. It starts to bow up. It needs a lot of backbending to get it to lay flat. That's kind of annoying, especially when you're paying a premium price to get a matted map. It's fantastic that Compass has consistently come out now with these maps that lay flat, and I really, big kudos to them for that. Love these big, thick counters, pre-rounded corners. You don't have to worry about clipping them or anything like that. And it's a game that's going to be easy to understand, get on the table, and have fun with. So I'm excited to get this one on the table and check it out, because World War I is not an era that I'm really big on. I don't have a lot of World War I games, so it's an area that I'm curious to explore a little bit more with this game, and I love that cover. That is a very, very compelling cover. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you'd be curious about this one. You have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.